The resurrection of Christ thousands of years ago, a rumor that was turned into man's own dogma of faith. Part 2.
With regard to the subject of the death and resurrection of Christ, we must be clear about what death means to God. In this way, we can easily understand what the true resurrection is. No one is born with a spirit. A basic and fundamental principle taught by God's wisdom, Christ Lisbeth, is that human beings are born without God's spirit. That is why all who are born biologically are dead, and why all mortal men eventually perish. The phrase, "God will kill the man of sin with the spirit of her mouth," means that the Lord will destroy the man of sin through the breath or spirit of her mouth, and with the appearance of her arrival. This does not refer to something physical, like a murder, but to a spiritual destruction. In other words, Christ is here in the latter days, just as God promised, to destroy the unclean spirit of lies and wickedness from the man of sin, which has been passed on to men from generation to generation. Because it is certainly through the resurrection of Christ, in this time, that men will have the opportunity to live forever and never die again. It is through eliminating the authority and influence that the man of sin exerts over people. Therefore, in the minds of men, the Lord will render powerless the vile man who represents Babylon, the great harlot. So then, this phrase in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 8, clearly shows that God's Spirit is not something that could fly, or an ethereal-like object, or a ghost. The breathing or spirit that comes from God's mouth refers to His word, His message, or His revealing power, which can only come from the mouth of Christ herself, the Verb made flesh, God's personified wisdom. That is why it is impossible to hear or see a Christ from another time. It must be the Christ present today, in the latter days. That is the only way we can be witnesses to God's truth, and that He does fulfill His decree to destroy the dominion of the wicked one, whose appearance is by the work of Satan. To be continued.